Hi everyone, so I'm just going to go through a while loop example with if and else statements. So I'm just going to make one on the spot here. So what we'll do is let's make a while loop, but first let's make a condition. So var proceed is equal to true. And what we'll do is we'll also set up some kind of number. So we'll say var num is equal to 0, so it starts at 0. Now let's add a while loop. In order to add the while loop, we have to type while, and then we're just going to put the brackets here, and we're just going to type proceed, because if it's true, we want it to keep on going in this loop. And what we want to do is let's increment this num0 by 1 each time. So that's the shorthand version of incrementing by 1. If you aren't sure, you can check out my channel, and there's a video on incrementing and decrementing you can watch. But here, what we're going to do is we're also going to check if num is equal to, let's say, 3. Then we'll just, let's say we want to increment it by 3 or like 2. Let's say we want to increment it by 2 if it gets to the number 3. And then else, if it gets to, so after this if statement, let's make an else. So else if, let's say, num is equal to 10, then what we're going to do is we're going to break out of this loop, and else there's going to be nothing. We're just going to just keep on going. This is just going to add else at the bottom, because depending on if you're going to web or software development, well, as software developers, they always add an else statement at the end, even if there's nothing. So that's what I'm going to do. And I just make it an empty single line comment. There's nothing to display. And what happens is if it gets to the number 10, it's going to break out of this loop. And this is how we use like these if and else statements within this while loop. So if I then go outside of the while loop and type in console.log num, and then here at the end, what I'll do is I'll just try running it, and I'll explain it in more detail after. cd desktop, and then node test.js. And you can see here it stops at the number 10, because that's what we told it to do once it gets here. So essentially, what's happening is we set it up here to always be true for proceed. So as long as this is true, keep on going. Or instead of using break, we could have also changed it to proceed is equal to false. It's the same thing, however you want to end the loop. But I'll just show you, if I just run the node again, it still ends at 10. You can either use this proceed word, or you can use the break, and it will do the exact same thing. So it's saying, while this is true, keep on going in this while loop. So keep on running this over and over and over again until some kind of condition is met where we can get out of this while loop. So what it's doing is adding 1 each time, because we start at 0, it's going to add 1. And it's checking here, is there anything that we can get into? No, it doesn't equal 3. No, it doesn't equal 10. Else, there's nothing. Okay, go to the bottom. All right, let's go back up to the top here. And it's checking now, is proceed still true? Yes, it is. So then it's going to go here, num plus plus. So next time, now it'll be 2. And is number equal 3? No. Is it equal to 10? No. And it'll skip all this, else, nothing to do. Okay, so go back up. And right here, it's going to add 1. So it'll be 3. So if num is equal to 3, then do what's in here. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So since it's 5, and since it got a true value in one of the if-else statements here at the top, it's going to skip everything below it. So it won't even check this one, and it won't even go to the else statement. It'll just stop. It'll go to the bottom, and then it'll go back all the way up to the top. It's still true, so it's still going through. And the next one is 4. So when we add one more to 3, it's going to be 4. So it's going to, none of these are going to be pertained. And then it's going to go through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And once it goes through one more time, it goes to 10. So once it increases to 10, so it's going to skip this if statement because it's not true. But when it gets to this else if statement, it's saying does 10 equal 10? And that's going to be true. So this proceed now changes to false. So when it goes down to the bottom and then it goes back up here, since proceed has changed to false, it's saying don't bother going in here again. Just get out of the while loop and go down and console log out whatever the number is. So now that's why we get the number 10 in the actual console log right here. And this is how you do these if and else statements within a while loop. So you have to know how to set them up at the beginning, which is with these type of notations here. And if you want more examples, you can always go to W3 School's while loops. So if we go here, W3 School while loop, oh, let's go to not Python, we want to go JavaScript right here. So here it's saying while condition, so some kind of condition, true or false, or maybe greater than or equal than sign. So you can use these kind of checkings as well for the different signs. It tells you exactly, and we're going to do another do while condition later, but these are some really good examples here. I would really advise everyone to take a look as to what all of these different examples are on W3 Schools. But this is essentially how you set up a while loop and then put these if and else conditions to then do something and either continue with the while loop, or you can get out of the while loop. So here proceed is false, or you could also just, as I mentioned before, use that keyword called break. It would be the same thing, and then it will just console log out whatever that number is, which should be 10 because that's when it stops at.